What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I came across this interesting article earlier, and then, I was like, yeah, I might cover that, I might not. And I scrolled down a little bit, and I couldn't believe my freaking eyes. I'm like, oh, imagine this. What the hell am I even talking about? Check this out, y'all. Russia rejects Donald Trump's Ukraine peace plan. So I'm like, yeah, okay, Donald Trump's peace plan. I go to scroll, and what do I see? Biden announces $2.5 billion in military assistance for Kyiv. Like, holy crap, what the hell is wrong with Joe Biden? Right? They're having unofficial peace talks right now. They're not official. Nothing is official yet because Donald Trump's not in office. He's just throwing ideas out there, right? And they're like, no, we're not going to take that. And what does Joe Biden do? Oh, well, here's some more weapons, right? Just trying to turn the fire up a little bit, just trying to roast Donald Trump, make it even harder for him to negotiate, right? What a stupid, just a stupid bonehead maneuver to pull. When you got somebody over here in peace negotiations, for crying out loud, you're going to go and send weapons to the other side. What in the hell is wrong with Joe Biden? This guy is running this country into the ground. We must look like absolute fools on the world stage because I look at Biden's administration and I see just incompetent fools. That's all I see with the Biden administration, dropping the ball. It's either incompetence or it's on purpose. And if it's on purpose, that's terrible. That's really, really bad news for the country because they are intentionally trying to destroy this country. I would much rather go with the idea that it's incompetence. They don't know that they're destroying the country, that they just don't realize the damage from all these actions that they're taking. They don't see what they're doing to this country, even though it's really hard. I've got to do a lot of leaps in logic here to get to that point to think that it's just incompetence when it's that much incompetence, right? I'm not fully convinced. I'll be honest with you guys on that, but I really revel in the idea. I hate to think about it, but I revel in the idea that they're doing this on purpose. I really do. I just sit back and I think about it and I'm like, man, they've got to be doing this on purpose. This is ridiculous, ridiculously stupid, if you ask me. But, it is what it is. But I saw this little plan. I figured I'd cover it. So let's go ahead and get into this thing. But right quick, hang on. Y'all do me a big favor and smash that like button for me. If you don't mind, I would greatly appreciate that. And if you're new around here and like to stay up to date with politics and, learn exactly how you're being manipulated by the corporate press, because that's what we do around here. We keep up with the news, we read news, and figure out how we're being manipulated by the corporate press because they're always on some sort of manipulation trip, if you will, just to sow a narrative to make reality fake. I guess. I don't know if they're doing it on purpose once again or if it's just incompetence. It can't be incompetence. I'm sorry. They're doing it on purpose, y'all. I'm sorry. I'm completely away from that at this point. You gotta be, right? But let's go. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov rejected proposals Monday floated by President-elect Trump's allies to end the war in Ukraine, dealing a major setback for the incoming president's hopes to freeze the conflict. Like, they say it like, oh, it's devastating. It's a major setback. It's not even official talks yet. In an interview with Russian state-run media outlet TASS, T-A-S-S, Lavrov said Moscow has not received any official signals regarding a settlement in Ukraine, but the Kremlin was resistant to those unofficial ideas. We are not happy, of course, with the proposals made by members of the Trump team to postpone Ukraine's admission to NATO for 20 years and to station British and European peacekeeping forces in Ukraine, he said, responding to leaked reports of Trump's proposals. That's absurd, right? That's absurd. Who in their right mind in Trump's team, like Trump, you need to find out who the hell this is. Who would leak this information, for one? Like, why would they do that? I don't get that. Like, these people just trying to undermine peace negotiations, right? You don't want to leak all this stuff out to have everybody discussing this and throwing ideas out there. But, the whole keeping Ukraine out of NATO for 20 years, that should be off the table, in my opinion. I don't think we should even engage with the idea that Ukraine can join NATO, right? We don't need more NATO expansion. I mean, that's partly what got us into the position we're in right now. It's partly NATO expansion. But then you got several other issues, a lot of, stuff going on in Ukraine. There's pretty much been a civil war going on there since 2014. So there's a lot of that, but, NATO expansion definitely does register on the box on that. So I don't think we need more of this, right? Like, why expand NATO anyway? I don't know, I just don't see that as being legitimately from Trump. Like, everything I've heard from Trump doesn't suggest that he would want to just postpone NATO expansion, right? Like, he's talking about making NATO pay their fair share, and he rails against NATO. He's threatened to pull out of NATO. Why would he want to expand NATO? Doesn't make any sense to me, but, hey, I'm not on the Trump team, but it is what it is. Lavrov called for reliable and legal binding agreements that would eliminate the root causes of the conflict and seal a mechanism precluding the possibility of their violation. Trump has not officially released any proposals to end the war, and earlier this month he admitted it would be more difficult to solve than the Middle East conflict. Still, Trump campaigned on ending the war by the time he takes office, and has also claimed he could end it within 24 hours of his taking office. Yeah, we all know, come on, that's just Trump talking. Trump embellishes a lot. Basically, what he was saying there, in other words, say he's going to work hard to get this done. First thing, he's going to be working on this before he even takes office, right? He didn't come out and guarantee anything, but he's like, I'm going to get it done. We'll get it done within 24 hours. Right? Well, you know what? If Putin would agreed to those terms, he could have gotten it done before he took office. Who would expect to end a war from two other nations fighting in 24 hours? Like, did these people actually take that seriously? No, they're just trying to lather everything up to make Trump look bad. That's what they're doing. Oh, we're being manipulated. Is that what it is? Yes. That's exactly what it is. They're trying to manipulate you. Oh, Trump is bad. Orange Man is evil. Don't you forget it, y'all. In a Time magazine interview this month, Trump said he would not release his proposals because it would become a worthless plan once made public. But he pledged he would not abandon Ukraine amid fears he would give up eastern Ukrainian territory seized by Russian forces in the war without finding a solution that would protect Kyiv. I want to reach an agreement, and the only way you're going to reach an agreement is not to abandon, Trump said. His advisors, including retired Lieutenant General Keith Kellogg, whom Trump tapped for his special envoy to Ukraine, have proposed pushing Ukraine to the table by threatening to cut off aid and getting Russian President Vladimir Putin to negotiate with the threat of surging weapons. Hey, that's not a bad idea. Right, you get both of them to the table. Like, hang on there, Putin. You don't want to negotiate. We'll just nuke you. There we go. We'll get that out on the table. Now, how about you come over here and let's discuss some stuff? Solutions to end the war reportedly include abandoning NATO membership aspirations for Ukraine and supporting a European peacekeeping force in return for security guarantees. Now, you love how they framed that, right? Abandoning NATO membership. You gotta love that, right? Like, why do we want to expand NATO? I could never, ever get a really good explanation other than, well, we got this military-industrial complex over here, and, well, Putin is a dictator. What does that have to do with anything? Right? Like, he's not a dictator over Ukraine. So why, once again, what does Putin have to do with Ukraine? He doesn't rule Ukraine. Right? These people are just I don't know, they're funny to me. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has made NATO membership a key part of his victory plan, and Ukrainian officials have pushed for legitimate security guarantees, which is unlikely to happen outside of NATO. Yes, if I was him, I would be doing that as well, because if you could just so happen to sign on to NATO while you're in a conflict, which goes against the NATO charter, by the way, I don't know if he knows that or not, I'm sure he does, but if you can get them to agree to that instantly and automatically triggers Article 5. That would help Ukraine out a lot. Like, it would be insane for him not to try that, right? You would have to be a jackass. But, Lavrov said Russia would refuse to accept Ukraine's NATO membership regardless of the territorial factor. Putin, who has called for a lasting peace and has accused Ukraine of thwarting efforts to end the war, said he is open to meeting with Trump. But Lavrov said Monday he doubted Trump could restore ties between Russia and the U.S., arguing it would not be that simple. Even if Trump tries to relaunch bilateral ties, he will have to swim against the stream, considering the current bipartisan consensus on the policy of deterring Russia, Lavrov said. Hang on there, Lavrov. You know that the president dictates policy, foreign policy. So if he changed foreign policy, he would be the one to do it. I'm just saying. Maybe he doesn't know American politics as well as we all do. We'll see what happens next. If the Americans respect our interests, our dialogue will be gradually renewed. If not, everything will remain as is. Yeah, I'm sure it will. But look, yeah, respect your whatever. Go right on ahead with that. You guys need to come to the table because, yeah, we need to stop this war. That's what I say. And I don't see any angle for Russia to continue this war as they're doing, right? Why would you do that? That's a giant waste of money, right? Look at America. All of our wars, we gotten so pissed off about all these forever wars and all this garbage because that's what that's going to turn into for Russia if they try to stay there. It's going to turn into a forever war. It's going to be another Afghanistan, and they failed in Afghanistan. Had to pull out all bloody nosed and eye beaten up and stuff, right? It's going to happen again. It's going to happen again. So you can't maintain this war stance for that long. It's going to become unpopular over time, right? That's just a natural thing. War, the longer it lasts, the more and more unpopular it becomes, generally speaking. But I don't think he can maintain this, right? He hasn't shown much initiative as far as all of his aspirations to take over Europe and to roll into Poland and reunify the old Soviet Union, if you will, as some of these people like General Clark over here. I covered a video the other day talking about General Clark saying, Putin's aspirations, he wants to go into Poland and he wants Latvia back and Lithuania and Romania. He wants to bring back the Soviet Union. And I'm like, no, he doesn't. He doesn't have the ability to do that at this point, right? If that was his aspirations, if his aspirations were territorial, right, just conquest, what the hell is going on over there, right? It's either, because two things can't be true at the same time over here. If he has these conquest aspirations, right, then he's incapable of going anywhere past where he's at now because he hasn't gone anywhere past where he's at now. And if not, why are we still funding this thing? Why has there not been any peace yet? They can't answer that question. They can never answer that question. But I think I've rambled on for long enough on this one, y'all. I want y'all to let me know what y'all think about all this down in the comments section. Y'all think we're going to get peace? Do you think that Joe Biden is actively undermining the peace negotiations, unofficial peace negotiations, but he's still actively undermining not only Ukraine's war with Russia, the peace negotiations, but the United States itself? Because that's just Joe Biden's shtick. he undermines the United States. That's just my opinion, though, and I just so happen to be a little bit biased. But y'all let me know what y'all think about all this. That's all I got for this one. I want to thank everybody for watching, and y'all try to have a good day. Stay legitical. Peace.